Hi guys! In this lesson I'm going to show you how to draw and differentiate the 3 basic body types you'll find in most characters you draw. These 3 body types can be adjusted to many different styles, some more complex and others simplified. I'll show you how to do the base, and then we can add more details and features as we go along. So the 3 types of body are the pear-shaped, slim body, the larger ball-shaped one, and a more standard athletic body. But let's go step by step. So one of the shapes that we can find is the slim shape. You can also call it pear-shaped or peanut-shaped, as it reminds us of those. Basically, it's a shape that's divided into 2 parts, the thorax and the pelvis. But instead of separating them and drawing the standard anatomy, we can simplify it with this pear shape. We're only sketching right now, so we don't need to add all the anatomical details in this stage. First, you need to build the base of your character, so the lines you draw need to be as simple as possible. The same goes for the shapes and the volumes. This body type is interesting for certain characters. For example, we're drawing fantasy characters, so it's quite good for gnomes, goblins, fairies, any creature that has a small and slim physique. Later on, you can explore and find your own characters to apply this shape to. You can rotate the little pear we're drawing and place it in any perspective you like. Obviously, this will change the perspective of your character. Think about what pose you want your character in, and then see the possibilities that perspective allows you. Add the arms and legs to generate different poses. If you're not sure what pose or movement to give your character, have a look at some reference models, look at yourself in the mirror, or use photos and illustrations of other artists to inspire you. This way, you can experiment with different actions in your drawing. As you can see, if we isolate the pear, we can see the basic shape. We can move it and bend it however we want, as long as we respect the basic components, the thorax and the pelvis. Try out different pears with different thicknesses and lengths to see which are applicable to different bodies and characters. Now I'll quickly explain the difference between drawing a female character and a male character with this body shape. As you can see, the female follows the same pattern you saw earlier. It's not that difficult, and the male bodies tend to be straighter. A female body usually has more curves, especially around the waist and the hips. So we'll follow the same procedure as the male, but highlighting the hips and the chest. This will add some more life to the character, and it will be perfectly understood as a female as we advance and draw the face, the clothes, the hair, etc. The second body type is the large one. To begin, we'll draw a big ball shape, almost egg-shaped, and again use lines to separate the thorax and the pelvis. So this body is visually more appealing, we usually leave out the neck and join this part of the body with the head. You don't always have to do this, but you could use it in your drawing if you want. Same as before, we'll add the arms and legs to add movement to the character. To give our character a pose, we can bend the ball we drew and experiment with different positions. Like I said before, use references like photos or illustrations. Look at yourself in the mirror and copy the poses. I like copying from the mirror because I think you add a little bit of yourself into your illustrations. Plus, it's fun. Now, I'll draw the standard shape for the body so you see how it works alone. It looks pretty much like the pear we drew before, just bigger and fatter, so making it more into a ball. But remember to still mark the thorax and the pelvis. So like with the pear shape, let's see the difference between the male and female bodies. Here, the main difference is the chest and the hips. We can even leave the hips out in some cases and play around with the face and the clothes. You see that for the male body, we follow the steps we already saw as it follows the standard shapes. Now, for the female, we'll repeat the process, but adding to the chest area. You can also highlight the hips if you like. But the difference between the bodies is quite subtle, as you can see. The last body type is the athletic body. You're probably familiar with this. It's usually the one you draw when learning about anatomy. Here, the difference between male and female is more noticeable than with the other body types. So let's take a look. To start, the shapes are more stylized. Again, we can highlight the thorax and the pelvis. For the male, you can even separate the abdomen from the thorax to make the torso bulkier. Unlike the other bodies, it's very important to draw the neck here. Again, experiment with different poses by adding the arms and the legs. You can even change the angle of the head to achieve different gestures. Use the references, like I explained before, to do this. To draw the female, we just need to narrow the hips and add to the chest. This is important so it's obvious that it's a female body. Use curves instead of straight lines to help you achieve this. Notice how we can easily differentiate two basic parts in this body type, two main boxes. See how they work alone. Okay, let's take a closer look at the difference between the male and the female body. So we start with a wide, strong thorax. We'll draw the neck, as in this type of body we can definitely see it. I'll also mark the muscles on the back to make the torso look stronger. For the female, I'll play around with the shapes of the hips and I'll narrow the waist. Add the chest and the rest of the limbs to give the character a pose. So these are the main differences between male and female bodies for the athletic body type. Let's just review our three body types. So first we have the slim pear shape. then the larger ball shape, and finally the athletic body, which is more of a standard type. Now you know the three main bodies used to draw characters, so we're going to use them to create our fantastical creatures. I hope you're enjoying the course so far, and I'll see you in the next lesson.